Microsoft has devised a plan to get everyone buying Xbox Ones. Will it fail, or will it work?
Take.
Microsoft is rumored to introduce a payment plan. The idea with this is every month you pay a certain amount of money and you'll get an Xbox console, Xbox Live, and Xbox Game Pass all in one go. But we don't know if it's going to be real yet, but the rumor is it might be coming out at the end of the month.
Yeah, it seems like it should be coming out fairly soon. And this news comes from Windows Central. They tend to have a lot of really good Microsoft news.
And fairly accurate, too.
Fairly accurate. And this is coming from more than one source, I guess. So yeah, this will be coming out soon. Gamescom's going on right now. Wasn't announced at Gamescom. Why is that? It's US.
Yeah.
Like this is supposed to be a US only deal, so of course it's not going to be announced at Gamescom per se. But the subscription that we're talking about so far, like you said, it includes a console, Xbox One Gold, Live Gold rather, Xbox Game Pass. You can get an Xbox One S with the subscription service for $22 a month for 2 years, and you can get an X for $35 a month. And that's for 2 years as well.
And these are American prices, by the way.
Yes.
Right? So the idea with this is kind of interesting because in the past, Microsoft has done certain things like this with other manufacturers in an assortment of ways, but we've never seen Microsoft really do this like directly straight to consumers.
Yes, we're seeing a much more aggressive sort of take from Microsoft when it comes to getting these consoles into people's hands. Because recently, I believe it was in the very beginning of August, we started to see another sort of thing that Microsoft was doing, pushing Xbox consoles into homes by it's a turn it in program or trade up program.
Trade up is what they want to call it.
I think that's what they called it. So I have some of the info here. So you could bring your console into GameStop and I believe into some Microsoft stores. You can bring in an Xbox One. But it doesn't just have to be like a Microsoft-branded console. You could bring in a PS4 Pro or even a Switch. I even heard that you could even bring in a Wii and you can get money towards the purchase of an Xbox One X.
Yeah, and 360s were available as well, too.
I believe so. So you can get up to $300 American towards an Xbox One X. $300, I'm assuming, would be for the more premium consoles like the Switch or the PS4 Pro.
Yeah. So like the idea is, what we're seeing here is Microsoft is trying a bunch of different methods to get Xboxes in people's homes, and I think these things are going to work for them.
Yeah, I hope so, because right now, I think Microsoft sees what's going on. Hardware sales, okay? The Switch is at 19.3 million. It's gotten pretty far.
It's gotten pretty far pretty quick.
It's under 2 years, but it's doing quite well. PS4 is like doing exceptionally well. 81.5 million consoles are out there. The Xbox One, being out on the market for several years now, is only sitting at around 38.4 million consoles. So that's a little scary, especially when the new guys sort of climbing into your number territory so quickly.
Now, I want to make this like very much a point to discuss here. What we've seen in the past when these consoles originally announced have now changed to where they are now. Each system has had more than at least a year on the market, just like the Switch as well now.
That's right.
So we've actually been able to see what they're offering. So Sony has been doing a lot of things to get people playing on their platforms, mostly exclusive games. That really is what's driven people to buy the system more than anything else. In terms of backwards compatibility, it sucks. It has never been good for backwards compatibility. Any of the stuff you bought on the PlayStation 3, there's only maybe a handful of things that would have moved forward. PlayStation 1 classics haven't moved forward. You can't pay PlayStation 2 games on there unless they've been unique versions of the games that have been made for the platform. And one of the most interesting things about this is that Sony has been trying to get into the 4K market by introducing the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is clearly not as powerful as the Xbox One X.
That's true. It can't do a real 4K.
Yeah, it checkerboards it, which essentially means that it just rescales it dynamically in a specific way that doesn't tax the system too much, while still making the image clean. It's just not doing the same thing.
Yes.
It's a little bit of a different technique. Works, but it's not the same. What's interesting about this is that Sony is being so successful at just offering these almost half ideas to get to where they are.
Yeah, I feel like we're seeing a bit of aggressiveness from Nintendo, a lot from Microsoft, but Sony's just kind of resting on their laurels, I guess you could say.
Which is shocking considering where they were with the PlayStation 3, right? They fell on their faces, and it was a disaster for them at the beginning. But then they figured out a way to get it to work, and near the end of the PlayStation 3's lifespan, it was neck and neck with the Xbox 360, right? That was a really great way to go about things, and it really felt like Sony learned what they need to not repeat those things. But now that Sony is so far ahead of the PlayStation 4, there are a lot of elements of the PlayStation 4 that are great. We're not knocking that.
Oh, absolutely.
The introduction and exploration of the PlayStation VR was a genius move because it's the I would still argue to this point the easiest way for people to get console quality and a high quality gaming experience.
I believe it is
VR.
It is the best selling VR headset on the market right now. Not counting, of course, like the little things that you just plug your phone into.
Yeah, like Samsung VR and stuff like that.
Those don't count.
Yes,
but
that's I think a very important thing is to think about all that stuff because Sony has been really doing a good job of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, where Sony has seen success with the PlayStation 4, they've seen massive unsuccess with the Vita, which they ended up having to can, right? We've seen them kind of try to do certain things, but now with the introduction of Blu-ray technology, initially coming in with the PlayStation 3 and systems like that, we expected them to be on the cutting edge with every like newer tech piece because it's such their focus. Sony is one of the founding companies that made Blu-ray. It's I believe their original technology to begin with. There are there are Blu-ray 4K discs that exist now, and Sony refused to put that into their PlayStation 4 systems. Or Microsoft, using a competitor's product, has a 4K Blu-ray player not only in the Xbox One X, but also in the Xbox One S. And it's interesting to see that happen because it really feels like honestly, it feels like 4K is really in Microsoft's court, and Sony is just putting their foot in the puddle and a toe in the puddle rather, and not really want to get in.
Like it does seem like the Xbox has gotten into more of what our future is as far as like physical media is concerned. But I think maybe the PlayStation development team was looking at digital media as being the next step, maybe. So they kind of jumped over that 4K sort of hurdle for physical media when we're still. I don't think like that many people have dove into 4K media yet.
It's true. I
on
think
physical discs.
I think there's a lot of people out there that the 4K TVs they do have access to, the ones that are a little bit less expensive, are simply not big enough to really get the really neat resolution bonus you get from that.
Right, yeah.
Right? I know it seems kind of weird. If you have a 4K TV, or if you have a 1080p TV, or if you have a standard definition TV, there's actually a distance of viewing that actually assists that. So if you're looking at a 4K image and you're sitting just far enough back from a TV of a certain size, you will not get the benefit of it because you will not be able to really make out the finer details. So the larger your 4K TV is, the more details you can see, and the larger a standard definition TV is, the chances are that you're going to see more blurriness and stuff.
Sure.
So the TV that is behind us right now, this is a 4K TV.
That's a TV?
That's a TV. It is a big one, right? But we needed that because...
I'll prove it.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't touch it. But that TV there, right? We needed it to be 4K because we're filming in 4K. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on to make this video. But that TV would be a great example of the scale that you would need to get the 4K resolution looking great. That being said, none of them are very cheap. It's very difficult to get games to render at 4K, and I think Sony understood that getting in with the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, when it comes to Microsoft, at the gate, where Nintendo saw success, where Sony saw success, Microsoft fell on their face hard with the original Xbox One.
Yes, that's right. We've gone over it a bunch of times. Out of the starting gate, there were pricing issues and there were messaging issues with what the console could be. So now they've spent the last few years trying to build the console back up, and these subscription services seem to be the last sort of kick, maybe for this console generation for the Xbox One system.
And I think this is what really interests me about this is that when I expected very much to see Microsoft continue to falter, and we've seen them not really grow significantly, but they have made headway. They have made sales.
Yeah, their software sales are okay.
Yeah, They still have twice the amount of units on the market that Nintendo has, but Nintendo is rapidly catching up.
And Nintendo's brand new. We have to keep that in mind.
Microsoft made a revision to the system, the Xbox One S. Way better than the original Xbox One. Heads, like, it's not even a competition. It is a much better system. Faster, has better performance, it's slimmer. The operating system was updated. They removed some of the bulky components in there that were meant for multimedia stuff that nobody really wanted in the first place. Kinect isn't a thing. You can get an adapter to make it work on the Xbox One S, but nobody wants to do that anymore. That idea is just completely gone.
So, looking at these subscription services, what do you think of this? $22 for an Xbox One S for 2 years, monthly $22, or $35 monthly for 2 years for an X. Is this something that if you didn't have these systems, you could see yourself investing in?
Well, I mean, over the course of 2 years, you ran the numbers.
Yeah.
You found out that it's actually a little bit cheaper to do it this way than actually buying it outright.
Okay, yeah. So a la carte for all these services and the console for the Xbox One S, you're looking at about $608.74. Whereas with the subscription, it's only $528. So that's a difference of $80.74 for the consumer.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Xbox One X, a la carte for the Gold and Game Pass, remember this is for 2 years, a la carte it would be $819.69, whereas with the subscription it would be $840. So that's actually a difference of $20.31 that's going towards Microsoft.
Yeah.
You would be losing $20.31.
I mean, over the course of time, right? You're buying something. I find that what's interesting about this is that it is a 2-year plan, which kind of tells me that they're at least going to support it for 2 years and hope that people don't want to jump. I mean, anyone that's doing this likely isn't going to be going out and buying a brand new system when they come out, right?
See, that's a good point, Shane, because I didn't take that into consideration when I was doing all this. I was so like looking at the numbers and months and things. Like, we are on the doorstep of the next generation of consoles. There's no denying that.
We're rumored 2019 to 2020, right?
Yeah,
we're getting really close to those years.
At first it was 2020. Some people are saying that PlayStation might be going as early as 2019. So.
Yeah, well, Microsoft has tipped their hands at the last couple conferences we've seen where they actually said, we're doing a new system, and they showed the shadow of one, right?
Yeah, same with Xbox. They were like, here's all these great things. They were showing at E3, and they're like, oh, and by the way, Scarlet's just around the corner, which I thought was kind of a silly move to do.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I find incredible about this is that Sony has their own service to actually have games streamed to you, and that's the PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now comes in at...
I believe it's $20 a month.
And if you want to get the Xbox One S 2-year subscription that comes with Xbox Live and the Game Pass and a console...
A console.
What is it?
Yeah, it's $22 a month US.
So for $2 extra a month, you get a console, you get an online subscription, and you get Games Pass, which I would argue is better than PlayStation Now because the games are actually downloaded on the system.
There's over 100 games there for you just to scoop up, and they're premium games as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's astonishing. Look, folks, one of the reasons I want to have this conversation with everybody today was because I really feel that what Microsoft is doing here is starting to get into a zone where they're becoming super aggressive and hungry to pull in as many gamers as they can.
I think they have to be. And this may be prep for the next iteration of consoles. Like, okay, let's get them now at the very end of this console life cycle. So when we do introduce this new console, and it's been rumored to be possibly a streaming device, if you're already on a service that kind of segues into the next iteration of consoles, maybe that'll be like easier for them to maintain those consumers.
Yeah, right? I mean, like, look, the newer systems that Microsoft have been releasing have larger hard drives, have a digital focus. I mean, they still offer the analog. Not the analog, but the optical disc media from the original Xbox that will work on your Xbox One, and the 360 will work on your Xbox One. Not every single game, but quite a few, and they keep expanding that library every single month. So the way I'm seeing this is Microsoft is introducing a far bigger library than any of the other consoles. They are introducing backwards compatibility like no other, but not even just saying, oh yeah, it will work on our system, but they're also introducing re-rendered assets. See, with the PlayStation 3, originally it could run PlayStation 1 games and PlayStation 2 games, and then at the end of its life, at the very end of the life, it could only run PlayStation 1 games. Yeah. But it would run those games just a little bit better looking and sharper than you would see on the original PlayStation. But the PlayStation 2 games, they had a little bit of an improvement as well.
They did,
but
yes.
But when it came to what Microsoft has attempted to do here, and they've been successful at it, the games are being rapidly re-rendered in ways that we never thought possible, and they perform better. It's not just like in the past where they just look a little sharper. Now you get a much more consistent frame rate and stuff like that. I mean, what I'm seeing here is telling me that Microsoft is going to have one of the strongest arguments or one of the strongest libraries at all going into their next system. There is no way that the next Xbox does not continue on with what they're building here.
I think that's exactly what they're doing here. I don't know. The subscription doesn't necessarily appeal to me per se. Like I'm not a big fan of, because I'm going to be paying for so many different subscriptions. I don't have an Xbox One right now, and this service isn't coming to Canada as of yet that we know of. But if it did,
or anywhere else, right? It's
only America. Yeah. But if it did, I don't know if I would consider it or not. But $22 is relatively cheap for an S. I would probably go with the X itself for $35. The thing is, this is it sounds fine. It sounds great for people to get in, and their trade up thing is cool as well. But no one is paying attention. Yeah. I feel like no one's paying attention. I feel like people that listen to the beat of the heart of games, they get this news. They hear it, right?
Can I tell you what I'm thinking?
Go ahead.
Okay. If someone is out there right now that loves Rockstar and wants to play the next Red Dead Redemption game, Red Dead Redemption is only available on 2 platforms. You're going to get it on Xbox One, or you're going to get it on PlayStation 4. If you've been sitting by the sidelines and you just want to get into the game and play it in the best way you can, with the fastest frame rate, with the most graphics, now you can pay $35 a month.
Did you just say the most graphics?
The most Xbox One X. Yeah. We have not seen anything so far. All we are aware of so far is that Red Dead Redemption 2, what they've shown, is actually running on the PlayStation 4 Pro hardware. That's what they've shown. They haven't shown it running on Xbox One X.
Oh, I didn't know that. We haven't seen an Xbox One X.
As far as I'm aware, what we are to expect running on the Xbox One X is a far more stable thing, because Xbox One X is just numbers, folks. It is a much more powerful system.
Right.
So if someone is out there wanting to play those new games and they want to move it forward on the console, they can basically pay $35 a month, get an Xbox One X at a reduced cost, plus Xbox Live is included so they can play it online.
Right.
And they get Games Pass, which just included, here's a bundle of other games.
Right.
And not only that, if they want to play the original Red Dead Redemption on the Xbox 360, it plays better on the Xbox One X and on the Xbox One S, compared to any other platform that exists, with a far more stable frame rate and enhanced resolution with the Xbox One X enhancements. What I'm looking at here is Microsoft sliding in and going, here's some ways, here's some methods. But next gen, coming into the next couple of months, we know they bought all these companies. We know that they're working with all these people to make exclusive games. We're likely going to see exclusive games on the platform that are going to basically steal people in. What Microsoft is doing right now is the same thing that Sony did to reverse their profits back when it came to the PlayStation 3 doing so poorly. I see them doing it and being far more successful at it, because what Sony did to make their stuff work on the PlayStation 3 was they killed the backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 2. They made the system far more reduced. They removed a lot of features, and they kept making it a smaller, cheaper package to get it out there. And then they started releasing all of these much more impressive games. And people, by happenstance, developers started understanding the architecture of the PlayStation 3 as they went along. Right now, with the Xbox One X, they've made it easier to produce games on. They've got a far bigger library than anyone else right now, and they are continually trying to make things better by the consumer. This tells me that by next year, you're going to start to see huge changes happen.
Well, I do appreciate all of the effort that they're putting in, and I do hope that numbers do happen. But again, I'm a pretty simple dude when it comes to my statements, but I just feel like the messaging isn't there. Like, you raised so many great points. Even the fact that, like, Red Dead Redemption, if you want to play the first game right now, it plays great on the Xbox One X. Yeah. Not a lot of people know that. Right, and I'm not even sure a lot of people know that true 4K is only on the Xbox One X.
It's true.
Messaging issues, and I feel like if we do want some growth from Microsoft, the word has to get out there, and like some sort of ad campaign or something to draw people in.
Microsoft, if you want to hire a spokesperson.
Microsoft does what Sony don't. I don't know. They need that really aggressive like ad campaign. Like, look, this is what we can do. Here are the numbers. Here's what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's all right here on this service.
Yeah, I honestly think it's fair to say that what Microsoft should be doing now is not just that marketing, but also getting on board and talking to some developers and going, look, we want the best version of this game to exist on our platform, and we want some exclusive stuff to talk about that. Like with the Xbox 360, the map packs for Call of Duty would come out first on the 360. As a consumer, I'm not a big fan of that stuff, but the idea that they can do that to achieve a goal of getting people more interested in their platform makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
But I don't know. What do you think? Are you excited about any of these ideas and this content package here?
Do you live in the States? Do you want to buy into the subscription, $22 or $35 a month?
Does this make it more interesting for you to actually get a brand new Xbox One? Let us know what you think.